guys, quick story. I got a quick story for y'all. So, I'm I was delivering. Yeah, so I was delivering, and I had it up to here with the customer, right? For one, as soon as I felt like my shopping cart changed, right? When as soon as I went to do the shopping, so I had to do the shopping for the customer, right? So as soon as I went to do the shopping, I felt like my shopping cart changed, which is kind of messed up because like it's like you got juked, right? Anyway, maybe it's because I didn't look at the list into the details um, before I went into it, but um, so so I get to the part where it says like five uh, quantities of cases of water, and they're each 40, like 40 count, right? And I'm just like annoyed, right? One, I had to make room on my cart, right? So I had two different batches. I had to make room for two different customers in one cart. You know what I mean? Luckily, Sam's Club cart is pretty big, so I was able to work it out. Um, you know what I mean? I do what I do, right? So, and the whole time, like I'm regretting it, right? Because I know one of them was an apartment, right? And yeah, so the apartment, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, so I was dreading up to the point where I got to the apartment. You know what I mean? So the first batch was cool, was whatever at his house. Even though like their stuff was a big mess too, cause their stuff was like same thing, right? Like it wasn't cases of water, it was like sodas and stuff, right? And the thing that sucks about it is, regardless of what it is, they don't tip you enough. You know what I mean? They either don't tip you enough, or like the company is not paying you the base rate. That's good enough for the work that you do, right? So I kind of regretted taking the order, right? But I already took the order, so you know what I mean. I didn't want to cancel it, you know what I mean, because then that would change your percentages and your stats or whatever, right? Just makes you look bad as an employee. The thing is, they're not paying you. They're not paying you to work like that. You know what I mean? Like, which is kind of sad, right? And a lot of times, you know what I mean? Like we could be doing like a different type of order for the same price, right? Because the base rate is so low, and then the tip is like it's worthless. You know what I mean? But yeah. So I'm regretting it up to the point where I get there, right? I get there, and then I buzz the people to come out, right? And normally, like I don't do it. You know what I mean? Whether it be like a lot of stuff or whatever, I don't do it. I don't get the people to come out, right? But the problem is, I was double parked in the busy street, so that kind of got on my nerves too, right? This is all little things, right? And yeah. So then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna buzz her. You know what I mean? Like, she comes out. If they don't, and I got double park, I'm not sure. Maybe I'll just jump to the conclusion that hey, this place is not accessible, and I'll just go return it. You know what I mean? At some point, you gotta kind of make that snap decision of why not, right? Have someone else do it. I would I'd rather return it because I think it comes to the point where you might injure yourself, right? And okay, other people got wagons and dollies and stuff, right? Um, yeah, you know what I mean. Like they should pay us. It don't matter about the equipment, dude. They should just pay us. I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind. Like, you know what I mean? I think it's not up. If it's up to the customer to tip, right? And the thing is, customers aren't gonna tip. You know what I mean? It's what they can afford, right? And you know what I mean? If it's a tip is optional, then they're not gonna tip. You know what I mean? So Sam's Club, right, or whatever, Walmart or whatever the company is, if I see the price on how much they paid, right? So if you're charging a fee for delivery, right, you gotta give us that fee for delivery. You know what I mean? You can't be like, oh, 2% or whatever, right? Nah, not especially if you gotta account for the weight. You know what I mean? Like the weight of the products or like the batch or whatever, right? Because that's a lot of work. You know what I mean? You're not paying us to do that type of work. You know what I mean? And plus the mileage and everything. Yeah, California give us a stipend for our mileage, right? But it's not still not worth it. It's still not worth it. That's all I'm saying, right? So anyway, so okay, so up to that point, right? When I got there, all the kids came out, man, in the neighborhood. They all helped me out, right? So the lady was actually nice enough to understand, and she gave me like cash tip on top, right, of it. I'm not sure how much it was. I think it might have been like $5 to $10 or something like that. So I brought all the little kids like $1 a piece. I think it was like 4 or 5 of them. You know what I mean? So you know what I mean? Like you know, I felt good because those kids were happy. You know what I mean? That was the only reason why I felt good. You know what I mean? Like like they were happy that they saw money. You know what I mean? Like whether it be a buck or whatnot, right? They didn't even think to see that they would whatever. They were just trying to be nice. You know what I mean? They were trying to be nice to the family, and they were trying to be nice to me. You know what I mean? Like so that's all that mattered. You feel me? So I was regretting it up to that point, and then I saw the human selflessness. You know what I mean? Like on the on the side. So you know what I mean? But I mean, I think the company got to do better. You know what I mean? If you're gonna, if you're gonna, encourage your customers to use you by giving them some sort of like incentive, which is maybe free delivery or something like that, then you gotta break us, the company. You feel me? You gotta break us a piece of the pie, man. Like, you can't be doing your workers wrong. You know what I mean? You're not gonna have no workers. Have a good day, y'all. Peace.